Okay, so I wanted to give a special shout out to Luis. It's either Luis Salas or Luis Sales. I'm not sure. Didn't want to mispronounce your name, but thank you so much for pointing this out. In the previous video, I talked about wanting to be able to be able to record, have two tracks armed to record, just like a DAW, right? So that I could be able to use MIDI from my computer and then record in the sound. Well, he fixed that for me by telling me exactly that you can do it. You have to go to the track, though, the track view. So here's your normal view that you would see when you first come on with your main, we call it the main view. And if you look on this one, there's a track view. Now, how do you get to it on the other MPCs? I don't know offhand, but if you know MPC enough, you'll know how to get there. But here you can just double tap or shift if you want. I'm not going to do shift on there, but when you get into here, you'll see both. But in order for you to run multiple tracks, you'll need to hit shift and then arm the other track. So shift and arm the track and you're done. And now you have multiple tracks going with monitoring. Now, here's the caveat. If this is an audio track, you need to be on the MIDI track. You need to set your in and out in here because one of the issues still is if you go outside of here, sure, the track will be armed, but you don't have the control that you have. Like in here, it's easier to see. Like if I want, let's say I'm in here, for instance, and I want to go over to the audio track. Well, you'll see here I can't play and get the sound. Even though they're both armed, everything's set up. I have to go back to this track in order to even play it. And then even in here, you're not hearing anything. So when I hit track, go in here, still not hearing anything, which is weird, but let me, oh, you know why? Because I got this track muted. That would help. So let me do that again. So we're in here. You got to be on the MIDI track for it to work in here. If you're in the track mode, though, you don't. Well, you can, you still have to, but you got to make sure that you are exactly touched on this one or it doesn't play. But you see it's doing that. So then after you record, you could go into your, you could use the slide over technically and go straight to the arrange. That's the quicker way to do it instead of a bunch of extra button mashing. But then you can see here's your MIDI just triggering the chords. And then here's your arrangement. Now I'm going to go back in and mute this track. The best way to do is I would say go to the mix and do it. But if you just go back into the track mode, you can just mute it there. And now you can hear. So I'm going to clear that MIDI notes off. And then if I go back into the track mutes, I can unmute that track if I want. Slide over, go to the arranger view. So I could start building now the song. And this is why I would love to have 16 audio tracks because mostly my instruments are going to come from the computer. I'm probably not going to be using the instruments inside of the MPC much. And this would afford me not to have to really focus. I mean, the MIDI tracks for me are more about the drums and things of that nature and samples and obviously, but now this is going to be super easy because I can go in here and start building out a song. Of course, you got to change the bars if you're gonna do, let's set it to 16. Then what you could do is just go in here and, well, I don't want to delete it. You should click here and be able to duplicate, but I guess not. So I guess you got to go to edit. And then delete bars, insert bars, have double the length. No, see, so now it played at 32. So I guess that means we're going to go ahead and put this at 16. Well, let's put this at 4. We'll do it this way. We'll put this at 4 because that's what it was, right? And then we'll go edit and just go double the length and then double that length. Yeah, now we have it. It would be, I mean, it would be nice because if we go to let's go back to 32 because now this is going to be here. So I'm going to have to delete this particular one. Okay. So I'm sure they're going to get this edited down. I have faith that if they come this far, they're not going to leave this like, and they'll figure out a way, because it would be nice, instead of having to do all that double link stuff, if I could just come in here and drag this out and make multiple copies, that would be nice. At this present point, it's a lot of double link, double. It reminds me of when I use Koala. Sometimes, like if I go with a 4-bar, 8-bar, then I have to go in and hit double length to get it to go 8 and so on and so forth. So this is kind of set up in the Koala aspect of it to me. Obviously, you can see the full waveform. It makes it a little bit better, but I'm just saying in the sense of how the editing is at this current moment. So we got to get rid of this and pull this back to 16 for now. Then you could at least build out 16. But the other option too would be just start with longer sequences, build 8 to 16 bars. 4 bars is not my normal anyway. I was just doing this to test it. But it's nice to have the ability to build out longer links. And I honestly don't want to record on the MIDI track. I just want to use the MIDI track as the MIDI to send in the audio. But unfortunately, I don't think, unless somebody knows otherwise, I don't think there's a way to do that. And I don't like going to this MIDI control keyboard mode because you have to leave this screen and stay in that screen to use it. So that's more like if you're just going to be in the DAW and you're just using this as a keyboard. But to work in here, I need to be able to send the sound back into here. So I need to be in the arranger view more than I do the other view. So again, this is all based on workflow. If your workflow doesn't work like this, I get it. But for me, I'm trying to play good instruments into my stuff. So like even somebody like Bolo, when he's talking about using his keyboards into the MPC, I understand why. Because he's making professional, he's trying to make the best quality sounding music he can make, right? Professional level music. And you want better instruments than what the MPC really is offering. That's just my take on it. Okay. Bolo can speak for himself. I'm not speaking for him. I'm just making a statement. All right. So now we have to go. This is the thing that I wish you could do it in the arranger, not have to do it here. You got to go in and remove the record because it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't memorize. It would be cool if you could just memorize it. It also, you can add a new track here, which is nice. So throw in your next audio track. And maybe on this one, can you rename it in here? Nope. So you can't rename it here. So these are things like that are bothersome. It would be nice to be able to do this, hold shift, press record on multiple tracks in the actual device itself or something, because here's why, because you can't rename stuff here. So I still got to go back here. I got to go rename this one. And all this moving around is what it takes. And I know people can say, well, you just build muscle memory. Of course, I've came off the SP. The muscle memory, I got that. But when you're looking for a smoother workflow, obviously you need to make this a little bit better. So let's say this second one is going to be the melody. Now, what you could do, or the second one could be the bass. What you could do is pre-set up a template for this. Like if you know for sure you're going to have a bass, drums, and chords, that's your start, right? Then pre-set up an arrangement for that with like 16 bars and whatever tempos you tend to ride with. But then when you get ready to record something, you're going to have to go hit shift and arm the MIDI track. right? And then turn on the monitoring, right? Go back up here. Obviously, that's not bass that we're looking at, so I'm going to have to move to a bass sound. Let me turn some of that fattener off. Turn that off. Okay, so now you're ready to go, and you're going to have to record. See, I would like, let's see, if we go back here. Yeah, see, you got to be on that track, and that's what's, because you can't see, now you lose the idea of being able to see the track. All right, so let's just play it. I don't even remember what chords I played, to be honest with you. So that's another thing, because you don't have the chords in front of you. So if you're just using like scalar or something like that, you better map out whatever chords you're playing. I don't do that in a DAW. I don't have to worry about it because it just does it, right? So I have to think a little bit differently on this one, which kind of sucks. If the MIDI program was playing the actual, not the triggers, but playing the actual chords that are coming through, then it would be a totally different thing. And it can do it, but the problem is when you use the controller to trigger the chord, so now I'm gonna grab the chords. You can't see me doing this, but I'm just moving the chords in scalar so I know which chords I played. So I gotta listen to this. Okay. Trying to remember the chords, guys, so bear with me 1 second. F minor. Okay, so pretty much I'm just playing E flat, A flat, F, and then B flat. No, that's A flat too. Never mind. Oh, I am playing a B flat at one point. All right, cool, got it. So let's go back to, this is, I have to, like, I don't do this in a DAW. I don't have to memorize this stuff. A flat, what did I say? See what I'm saying? Like, I have to memorize it. So E flat, E flat, A flat. Now, you don't have to memorize it. I'm just trying to get the notes in my head that I'm playing, and then you could just play by ear. And if you don't know like chords and the root notes and all that, because in MIDI you would have it already mapped out. You could just look at it there and grab it. But if you don't have it, then you just memorize scales. And if you don't have scales down, then just memorize the root note of the chord, the first note in the chord you play, right? So it's E flat, A flat, F, and then back to E flat. So here, all right, cool. Let's play. Just play around till I get it. think I'm gonna just... Now, the thing is with this type of recording, because you're committing the recording to an audio track out the gate, you don't have to do that. You could try to come back and record it, but for some reason, when I try to pull off of the MIDI note, it doesn't always play it in time. But I noticed when, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Here, let's go back to the arranger. Oops, to the arranger. I noticed when I played the MIDI directly in and recorded while, oh, excuse me, voice is choking out there. It's weird. When I recorded in, I can see here that it's slightly off, of course, because my playing's a little bit off. I don't play everything perfect, but you can see that the notes are actually hitting on time. So I think when you record it at the same time, maybe it's less of a latency. I could be wrong on that. Maybe there is some latency. I'm sure there's a bit of latency in everything we do, but for some reason, I'm not noticing it as much when I'm recording right on time. So I don't know why that's the case, but it's good to know that we can do it. That's the whole point of this, is that we can at least do it and get the timing right. Because I was not trying to do that before the way it was working. But this way, I think it's more possible to do it. So if you're not ready to record that, maybe you do your drums next, right? Just to be safe. So obviously you could do the drums within the MPC and then come back and finish. I'm not going to finish this on YouTube, but I just wanted to show you that Luis Salas or Sales showed me that there's a possibility using, well, as soon as it would decide to click. Sometimes it works on a double click. Sometimes you can just do shift. Using the track, you can do it, right? So you just have to remember shift, and then you can double put them on. Now it can come out, I don't know why it comes so loud. Maybe if I go to the mixer and, oh, that would be why the dang mixer has got the MIDI. I wonder if the MIDI, oh yeah, the MIDI channel has a volume? That's interesting, I didn't know that. What? I'm not sure if that's a volume or what that is, but when I go up, hear that? It was like distorting the sound that's coming through the audio. So I'm not sure what that is in relation. Is it controlling the velocity? Like how much of the velocity can come through? Pretty cool. Either way, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to look at it, take a look, see. I honestly didn't even know you could do that. So MPC is growing on me daily. I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Pretty impressed. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I'm out to the next one.